I received an award. And one, terrific. The only thing I know in the world, quite literally, is media bias. So I'm a savant accepting this award. I'm the only thing I know. I want to, for the new media people out there, I want to get it on record. I heart Mark Morano. You have no idea. What we endeavor to do, we whistleblowers and troublemakers out here in the new media who venture forth to attack the mainstream media for its bankruptcy, is to show that neutral media that shows neutrality towards Al-Qaeda and towards terrorists, they actually aren't neutral when it comes to putting a mirror up to who these people are and shining a light on the corruption that is the mainstream media. I got involved in this racket quite accidentally, and I'm kind of a polite, not a polite person, but I'm kind of a gregarious, lighthearted person, and I like laughing, I like going out and having cocktails with people, I like going out to dinner with people. And so in what I started to do, I started to go out and have cocktails with the people in the media. And because I was involved in news aggregation, these people wanted to become my friend. I'm like, this is kind of interesting. It's an awkward dance. I'm like, sure. I want to convert these people to not to conservatism. They'll eventually get there if they get to see the facts. I want to hold these people accountable to the standards that they offer at the J School. That is objective journalism, and that's what they say. That they go in there and they take their ideology and they leave it at the coat check. Well, that's in fact not true. And as long as these people have symposia in which they discuss everything from Craigslist to ruining their business, but they will not bring up the media bias thing. They go after Bernie Goldberg when he dares to tell the truth about what went on in the newsroom. Isn't it interesting that these people want to protect whistleblowers unless it's a whistleblower against their racket? And their hatred towards anyone that would dare challenge them, they start going to the DSM thing. They start calling you crazy. This person's crazy. Any person that could possibly think that the mainstream media is biased must be criminally insane. When you meet these people, like I do, and you continue to go out and have cocktails with them, maybe you are criminally insane. They're not nice people. They hold people that disagree with them in absolute contempt, and this entire new media creation is flummoxing them because average citizens are starting to do the job that they're supposed to do. If they were doing the job they were supposed to do, people would be getting into knit crafting, Warcraft, like those user-friendly games. Homemakers are now the journalists because they want to raise their country. They want to raise their children in the country that they were, born into. But they realize that they can't because the firewall for truth and accuracy and justice is the mainstream media. After years of going out to cocktails with these people and telling them, you got to change your ways, and watching the beginnings of new media from the Drudge Report through Instapundit, all of these websites, if you distill down all of the success stories of the early new media and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity, all they are is media criticism. All they do is take the source material and prove to you day in and day out that these people are lying to you. And what's happening now is it's reached a critical mass. There's no turning back. There's no turning back on the revelation that this bed of media accuracy and neutrality, it's over. It's crumbled right in front of us. And what has happened in our country over the last year is pretty amazing. It's not just the exposure of Barack Obama being a political radical, which was obvious to anyone who paid attention during the campaign to the alternative media. But what has happened, and I almost feel sorry for the left. I'm not kidding. I almost feel sorry for them because their entire political philosophy is crumbling right now because of exposure of what Mark Morano has done on ClimateGate. That is one of the primary pillars of their moral superiority, is their fundamental belief in global warming. And so and their fundamental belief that science, to prove that the science was wrong and to show that the religion was false is devastating to these people. And to prove that their moral righteousness in their place as the fourth estate in our society, it's been devastating to them that we expose them, that they act in bad faith, and they act in bad faith against the American people. And so we finally had enough of it. I'm going to just show you what I had to deal with today. Keith Zernike of the New York Times, are you in the room? Are you in the room? You're despicable. You're a despicable human being. You're the New York Times. What is your headline here? You came to CPAC to get your prey, and here's your prey, Jason Mattera from Hot Air and also from Young America's Foundation. This is the headline: CPAC speaker bashes Obama, comma, in racial tones. How can conservatives win the youth vote that overwhelmingly went for Barack Obama in 2008? At the Conservative Political Action Conference, apparently some are betting on using racial stereotypes. It goes into a story that does not express that he used a racial stereotype. It is just built upon a bed of lies. It says that he went into a Chris Rock voice. She's the one that correlated his voice to Chris Rock. He happens to be from Brooklyn. He was using his voice. But this is what these creeps do. I'm sick of having cocktails with them. I'm now at war with them. No more cocktails. In the Acorn story, that the left has basically 2 or 3 templates when it deals with the majority of the people in this country, the people in the flyover states. Why do I refer to flyover states? Because I grew up liberal in Brentwood and the west side of Los Angeles with a sense of moral superiority that I was better than everybody. And then I went to college in the South, and I was like, you're so smart. Your brother's smart. Your mother's smart. And I'm like, oh, and then I met people throughout the dorm, and I was like, this is a really weird conspiracy to put all these smart people from flyover states in one dorm. I was like, and I came back to Los Angeles. I was like, I live in the weirdest dorm you'll ever meet. There are these people from flyover country. You know those stupid people that you make movies about and you criticize, and the people in the articles that you make them out to be stupid and they can't take care of themselves, therefore we should be in charge of every aspect of their lives through government. I said, you won't believe it. There are people who are actually normal, they're actually funnier than us, and they're not as uptight. It's really and they're not snobs. That was when I started to realize, and they're like, no, you're wrong about those people. They're ignorant and they're horrible. I'm like, something's wrong with this picture. And so my war that I'm is with my neighbors and with my fellow journalists. It's an awkward lifestyle, I got to be honest with you, living in Hollywood and fighting the Hollywood left, residing in the realm of journalism and doing this type of stuff and fighting the people that I have to deal with. But to me, it's the most important battle out there. I've tried to analyze it. I've tried to figure out where politics is more important. It's not. These people create the firewall by which we cannot inform our fellow citizen to be able to make decisions on how we should govern ourselves. This is how they control us. And we have finally figured it out. And the new media is the means by which we can actually not just start to govern ourselves and start telling horrific truths about our political peril and our financial peril, because the press didn't report on these things. But we can also now change the equation, and we can begin to start changing the narratives. And when you see something like this, Kate Zernike, or Carol Leinick of the Washington Post, when the Acorn story began, yeah, you wanted the Acorn stuff, so I'll give you the Acorn stuff.